afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today as part of the ET Diversity and Inclusion Summit. Now, as a woman leader in the technology space, diversity and inclusion are more than just buzzwords for me. For me, it's an opportunity to empower millions in a widely polarized world, and it's hope for a more inclusive ecosystem where all of us can embrace our differences and our unique identities. And it's a fascinating challenge that requires organizations to step up and disrupt the orthodoxies associated with creating a truly inclusive workplace and a society. So the change begins with each one of us, and it begins now. Now, we love this quote where we say, diversity means being invited to the party, but inclusion means dancing at the party. So what I mean to say is, while diversity is the reflection of the world in which we live in, inclusion is all about creating that sense of belonging, be it at an organization level or be it in the societies that we are all part of. Now, the first thing to acknowledge about diversity is that it can be difficult. I come from an industry where the skewed gender ratio was almost accepted till a few years back. But luckily, not anymore. The good news is that more and more organizations are taking very concrete steps to create a diverse and an inclusive workforce. And it is no longer such an empty slogan, right? It is a business decision which is critical to an organization's growth and the evolution of our societies. And this is also backed by some solid facts and research. Being around people who are different from us makes us more creative, makes us more diligent, and makes us more hardworking. The fact is that we want to build teams and organizations who are capable of innovating, and for this, we need diversity. Because diversity clearly enhances creativity. It encourages the search for new information and perspectives, leading to better decision-making and problem-solving. Diversity can improve the bottom line of companies and lead to that unfettered innovation, unfettered discoveries, and breakthrough innovations. Even simply being exposed to diversity can change the way we think. And according to research, one of the best ways to boost an organization's capacity to transform themselves and their products may involve hiring more women and culturally diverse team members. Now, if we switch to an India-specific perspective, thankfully, we are seeing a great significant change, especially in technology. Now, if you look at NASSCOM and the leadership team at NASSCOM, both the chairperson as well as the president are women leaders, which is unprecedented in the history of NASSCOM. So I think the message is loud and clear, and it clearly sets the tone also for the industry and our organizations to follow suit. And I also say this because I'm part of the NASSCOM Executive Council, and this is indeed a major topic of discussion amongst us, and it is right on top of our priority list. I've always said this, and I will continue to reiterate that the onus is on each one of us as responsible organizations to empower women and also set them up for success. We should take responsibility to also create that right environment for women to feel encouraged and also motivated every single day, and also to make sure that they receive the right guidance to deliver at their best. Now, when we talk about creating the right environment, of course, it consists of many aspects, which include aspects like pay equity, flexible work options, equal opportunity, also leadership development, mentoring, coaching, and many others. And it's great to see organizations like SAP take very significant steps in this regard and help bridge the gap. And now with flex work or hybrid work, we have an even better opportunity to course correct. One of the many advantages of flex work is that it gives organizations the opportunity to work with global resources. Now, location becomes less relevant in the new normal. So organizations are building winning teams with some of the best resources from all over the world. And the growing popularity of the hybrid work model is also a great opportunity for us as organizations to rectify the skewed gender ratio at our workspaces. And in my own personal experience, and I'm also seeing more and more women leveraging this opportunity to return to work or even accelerate their career paths. However, there are many industries which still need better representation of women at all levels. And I really hope that with the new normal, that all industries can leverage this unique opportunity to create more diverse and inclusive workplaces. At SAP, gender intelligence is also one of our key pillars in the Diversity and Inclusion Charter. Now, over the years, along with setting targets to hire more women into the organization, we've invested into a lot of design programs as well and initiatives to support our women and also create that work environment where everybody can thrive, particularly women can thrive. And we've introduced women-friendly policies like work from home, part-time work, sabbaticals, on-site childcare facilities, amongst many others. So beyond inclusive policies and benefits, we are absolutely committed to accelerate their careers by providing that customized development opportunities at different phases in their careers. But it's also important to remember that diversity and inclusion is not just limited to empowering only a particular gender. Now, each one of us desires a corporate culture that creates those spaces, those rewards, those strategic practices, policies, and behaviors, right? Culture that allow all people not only to bring their fullest sense of self to work each day, but to also lead with our best contributions towards our company's mission, vision, and goals. And to achieve this, it is very important to acknowledge all forms of diversity and empower every single individual to bring their best self to the workplace, irrespective of their race, their sexual orientation, their age, or any other factors. And it shouldn't be a privilege to be able to be your true self at work or, for that matter, anywhere else. And it's also important to note that sometimes discrimination is not always a physical or a verbal attack. It can take many forms. We all know that. It can also be restrictions to healthcare, right? Education, information, and other benefits, personal benefits. So discrimination is not always obvious, not always on your face. So at SAP, we are a proud ally of the LGBTQIA+ community. And this is one area where we are continually investing and also learning along the way to create that inclusion for the community, where we all know there are many myths, there's many misconceptions in the larger Indian cultural context. So we embrace our colleagues for who they are and extend continued support for their individual preferences. Now, just to give you some color, the Pride March at SAP Labs India is one of the biggest celebrations because we genuinely want to create more awareness amongst the community and also the challenges that the community faces for all our people. And we have one of the largest global employee networks called Pride at SAP, with more than 8,000 plus LGBTQIA plus members, as well as their allies. And we're very respectful of the needs. There's a host of services which includes medical benefit to same-sex partners, insurance cover, which also covers gender affirmation surgeries. And additionally, we also extend the family leave to same-sex partners. And if you walk through our campuses, you'll see that there are gender-neutral restrooms all over the campus. Now, you might think these are small changes, but these are very significant changes to create that inclusive work environment for everybody. Similarly, it's great to see organizations embracing neurodiversity. And at SAP, we're trying to reshape notions of employment possibilities for individuals in the autism spectrum. And we believe that there is no designated jobs for people with autism. Instead, talented individuals with autism are hired according to their skills, their abilities, their education, and their capabilities, just like any other employee. And once hired, of course, their unique requirements are integrated at each stage of the employee life cycle. Now, I can go on and on talking about this, but I just want to call out one thing. Just last month, SAP Labs India was also recognized for our continuous efforts in the area of diversity and inclusion by the Harvard Business School. And our D&I practices are now part of an academic curriculum in the form of a case study at Harvard. So this is also something that we are really proud of. But like I mentioned before, the first thing to acknowledge about diversity and inclusion is that it can be difficult. But like I said, it's definitely not impossible. What we've seen over the years is that many D&I initiatives sometimes don't work in the long term, and that is because people adopt behavior because they're just told to do so, but backslide once the focus is off or a sponsor just leaves or moves on. So having just a business case is not enough to change behavior. People begin to adopt new capabilities which really stick when it's part of the core culture and when they're part of the way we work and not just as an add-on. So when you nudge people towards that right behavior, the right culture, rather than telling them, hey, this is how you do it, I think there's more long-term success. So in closing, I would once again say that it shouldn't be a privilege for any one of us to bring our true self to the workplace or anywhere else. It is up to each one of us to create that environment of trust and acceptance so that all our colleagues, our friends, or just anybody else in our family or social circle can be their most authentic selves. It's important to embrace our differences, our unique strengths, and just anything else that makes us unique and who we are in our own beautiful ways. Clearly, the world needs a lot more kindness today, so let's make sure we all do our bit.